This is Business Week Armenia, ＳիվիլNet's weekly economic digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia this week. Armenia is in talks with Turkmenistan on a major natural gas deal, a senior advisor to Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has revealed. In an interview with the Armen Press news agency this week, Artashes Tumanyan said the potentially multi-billion-dollar arrangement would involve Armenia purchasing natural gas from Turkmenistan's state-run gas company and importing it through a swap arrangement with Iran, which sits between the two countries. Iran has already given its preliminary approval, he added. Continuing, Tumanyan said Armenia envisions the deal covering between 600 million to 1 billion cubic meters of natural gas every year, but cautioned that prices have not yet been determined and negotiations are ongoing. If put into effect, the deal could meet a substantial portion of Armenia's total gas needs and could significantly lessen the country's dependence on Russia, which as of now supplies the vast majority of Armenia's gas and owns its domestic distribution network. However, it remains unclear how Armenia could import such large volumes of gas from Turkmenistan without lengthy and costly infrastructure investments. The existing pipeline connecting Armenia and Iran, which is also owned by Russia, is too narrow for such a large volume of gas. Meanwhile, a long-standing arrangement between Armenia and Gazprom, Russia's state-owned gas company, allows Yerevan to buy gas from Moscow at prices far below international market value. Last year, imports amounted to nearly 2.4 billion cubic meters. Armenia, which has no fossil fuels of its own, gets its remaining gas from Iran under a long-term gas for electricity swap deal. Armenian officials say those imports cost nearly twice as much. Indeed, Russia has long used steeply discounted gas supplies as a key lever of economic control over other former Soviet countries. But even as ties have frayed in recent years, Armenian officials have insisted they expect Russia won't raise gas prices through at least 2030. Still, the news of Armenia's gas talks with Turkmenistan comes as Pashinyan and other officials continue to stress the need for greater economic diversification beyond Russia. There was no immediate reaction from the Kremlin to the news of Armenia's gas talks with Turkmenistan. In other news from Moscow, a senior Russian official has again warned Armenia about the potential economic consequences of moving away after Armenia's parliament this week passed a bill to launch the European Union membership process. If Armenia goes toward Europe, then accordingly, it will be necessary to review our entire set of economic relations. Yerevan will have to choose between the Eurasian Economic Union and the European Union, Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Overchuk told reporters. Earlier this year, Overchuk, whose portfolio covers Russia's relations with other former Soviet states, memorably compared Armenia potentially joining the EU to buying a ticket for the Titanic. The Eurasian Economic Union promotes the free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor among members Armenia, Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Trade within the bloc amounted to $98.3 billion last year. Trade with its other members accounted for more than 40% of Armenia's foreign trade last year. By contrast, trade with the European Union accounted for just under 8% of Armenia's foreign trade. There was no immediate response from Yerevan to Overchuk's remarks on the bill, which calls on the government to launch accession talks with Brussels, but importantly, does not constitute an actual application for membership. Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet system is now online in Armenia, government and company representatives confirmed separately this week. High-tech industry minister Mkhitar Hayratpetyan hailed the news, writing on Facebook that Starlink's launch marks a transformative moment for Armenia and represents a major leap in expanding reliable, high-speed internet access across the country, including rural and hard-to-reach areas. For its part, Starlink posted a short confirmation note on X, the social media platform that Musk also owns. Late last year, Armenian government regulators issued operating licenses for Starlink, paving the way for the internet services provider to launch in the country. Aside from running Starlink, X, and electric vehicle maker Tesla, Musk, the world's richest person, is also playing a high-profile role in US President Donald Trump's second administration, heading the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.